Morning members, cheered out, give me take one. I'm going to do a bit of a different class this morning, try and gear this up a little bit towards some of our younger members. So I'll have a few little props and also a bit of a warm-up exercises. We'll go through certain bits and pieces and all that. So I know every class we always go through the same kind of routine for loosening out the body and all that. Before we do that, and in the times that we're in, I'd like to just do something slightly different, okay? So I'm just going to move a little bit closer to the camera. So what's important about now, and again we're listening to it from our parents, we're listening to from the government and the police and everybody else, that we have to stay indoors. It's very, very important that we stay indoors. We help get rid of this virus so we can all get back to training and some normal life as quick as possible. So seeing lots of people doing videos and stuff about different things. One that I'm not seeing an awful lot of people doing is how to wash your hands. Okay, at the moment this is just hand sanitizer, but the same thing. So again, 20 seconds roughly to keep washing your hands. Do it as often as possible. Use hand sanitizer where possible. So again, we'll just go through the motions of how we do it, okay? So again, imagine this was soap and water. You spray it on, then you'll go through. So rub your two hands together, then link into your fingers. Get up and down through your two fingers. In between, see what we're doing? Back and forth. Then you'll overlap the hands, and then you'll go inside both sides, and then on top, changing to the opposite side. Then you link your two fingers together. We go in, yeah, and then we can change hands if we wish, go to the opposite side, and you're grabbing a hold of your thumb, and then you're cleaning out your thumb. Same on the opposite side. We go through, we clean out our thumb. Then we go to the wrist. So just to the back of the hand, sung dung, all the way around to the wrist, and then the same on the opposite side. Okay, again, once you do that, no problem in going through very quickly. Again, just motions all the way through it, making sure that we get it. Okay, very, very important. Always keep your hands nice and clean, and where at all possible, don't be touching your face. Yeah, it's very, very difficult to do, especially when you're training and we start sweating or anything like that. Just to train ourselves not to be touching our face as much. Scratching is okay to a degree, but as much as possible, don't be using your bare hands. If you've just washed your hands and sanitized them, then it's fairly okay. So again, please understand when people are asking for you to do these extra little things, it is very, very important. So your parents asking you to clean up your room, remember this is difficult times for everybody, not just for you, for your parents, for everybody that's out there. We have to be able to get rid of this. The sooner we all comply with what we're being asked to do, the sooner we will get rid of this virus and life will go back to normal. I look out the window today and the sun is shining, it's beautiful. That doesn't mean that we can't go outside to our back garden, we can't make use of the sun, just don't be going out and mingling with other people. That's just so, so important. Okay, so we're going to go through a bit of the class. I have some props and stuff like that here. Like I said, going to be geared an awful lot more towards our younger members, just going through some of the motions. And again, any comments, members, any questions, please reach out to me. WhatsApp, text messages, phone calls, Facebook, any way that you want to reach out, please do. I'll be available to help where at all possible. If you want to send videos of you doing some of your techniques, of your patterns, again, I'm aware that we have a lot of students that are supposed to be going for their black belt gradings and for their more advanced degree gradings. That grading has been postponed, don't have a rescheduled date yet, but keep practicing, keep sending up your videos. I will review and I will comment back and give you everything else. We are making videos of the patterns and other bits and pieces, so I will share all of them as we have them, and again, they're just for reference. Not the greatest performances, but they are just for references. Okay, so we'll go again like we do in every class. Go through the motions, just loosening up, loosening out your neck. Again, I'm not going to spend so much time doing this because we can do a lot of this in our own time. Shoulders, arms, loosen them all around. Very, very important. Okay, side to side, hands on the waist. Ankle exercises, opposite leg, wrists. We know the motion, we can go through it all ourselves. Okay, so for starters here, what I'd like to try and work on now is a bit of balance. So something that we can do at any time. I always say, great time to practice your balance is when you're brushing your teeth. So like hand sanitizing and washing your hands and all, something that we have to do all the time, brushing your teeth we should do multiple times a day. And again, if you're doing it right, and we do it for say our 2 minutes, 2-minute balance. So standing on one foot, lifting up the foot and go and do something. Or if you want to turn around and pick out your favourite song, whatever it is, because something that doesn't necessarily make you think about your balance and what you're doing. So play something and try and time it and go, okay, I'm going to start off for 10 seconds and then down. Then we're going to lift up the other foot and do the same thing for 10 seconds and then down. And then we can increase it all the way up. So we start off just lifting the knee up. It doesn't have to go high. We can lift it a little bit off the ground and then up. As we're using our balance, what's very, very important is our toes. So even when we're wearing shoes, so right now barefoot, it's quite easy to grip your toes because they're all individual. When you're wearing shoes, it's a little bit difficult or harder to do, but you can still use your toes to spread out and grip and be able to roll your foot a little bit. But if you notice, the most important thing is when we're doing balance is concentration, straight in front. That we're not looking around, we're not trying to find out what anybody else is doing, we're concentrating on that target. Because then you're not being distracted. Your eyes and brain aren't trying to absorb all of the other influences that we're concentrating. So take that into our patterns, take that into free sparring, it's the same thing. Once you can concentrate straight in front and be focused on what you're doing and remove all the distractions of everything else, it gets an awful lot easier. So like I said, start off low down to the ground, just lift your foot, then going up, and then we can start doing different motions with the feet, pointing the toes down, turning the foot to a certain degree angle, yeah? Going through all different directions, then straighten the leg, and then hold the leg, lift the leg, change legs, same thing, go through the motions. Then when we get that little bit more comfortable with it, we can bend our knee, and then hold the leg up. Same thing again making minor adjustments if we need to hold our balance, lifting the leg, and then from there, then start trying to push that knee down. This one here, pushing it right down, and again, so not only are we working on our balance, we're also working on our flexibility. We're getting those little stretches and all that out. So everything very, very important for balance. Again, we've explained balance quite a lot when it comes to our stances. So being able to be in the proper walking stance, L stance, sitting stance, whatever it may be, balance is very, very important. So another key to balance is our head position. So especially when we kick, as we transition to kick, the more we move our head off to one side, the less balance that we're going to have. So we have to be able to work on how much do we tilt because of the weight of our head and to the length of our leg and everything else. So an awful lot to be calculating out at the same time. So an awful lot easier if you just try and keep your head up as much as you can. The more flexible you are, the easier that is. You will see lots of individuals, and I'm sure most of my students as well are the same, that they can lift their leg out, hold it out here without moving the body whatsoever. If you can, that's fantastic. Unfortunately, if you're like me, and we're not as extremely flexible as we would like to be, we have to tilt a little bit. But all that is just making sure that this angle here, that we're tilting the body, is as small as possible. So we try not go back into anything like this, because A, we can't focus on the target. It's very difficult to be able to see what we're doing, and it's also very difficult for balance. So as much as possible, keep the body upright. So use your wall, use anything that you have. Stand against the wall here, lift out your leg. So now it doesn't allow me tilt, I can't move back. Lift up, hold onto your leg. Get used to this position, then move away from the wall. Same idea again, then we could just hold that position. Get used to it. Get practice, do both legs, make sure that we work on both legs. No point in being flexible on one leg or good strength and balance on one leg. We need to be able to do both. So, very, very important. Then we can start going into like X stance. So X stance is just slightly different because, well, at this stage now, all I'm doing is crossing over my legs. Both feet flat on the ground. But then we can lift either heel off the ground and then bend your knees. So you will notice that when you bend your knees, so standing flat this way, balance is not great. Somebody comes over, gives you a little bit of a push on the shoulder or on the chest or the back, we won't have balance. When we lift up that heel, so we go into the ball of one of the feet, only one stays flat to the ground, and we can bend our knees, we will see the improvement in our balance. And this is a great indicator of lowering your body down. So getting that center of gravity down closer to the ground gives you improved balance. So again, let's take that into our stance. You've got walking stance. A short walking stance gives us great mobility. I can move very easily forward and back, no problem. I don't have the best of balance. Again, stand in a short walking stance, ask somebody to apply a little bit of pressure, maybe push from shoulder to shoulder, and we move out. We then go back and go the opposite way, where I go really, really long in my stance. Somebody pushes me from side to side, back and forth, I'm not going to move. Somebody grabs my hand, tries to pull me forward. Again, I've got really stable base, so my balance is going to be fine. The problem then is I don't have that mobility. I don't have that ease of movement. I can't just easily lift and transition to the next move. So that's where our stances are very important, that it takes both of them into account. So it's in the middle, where we have good balance and we have good mobility. So be able to find out what that sweet spot is, and roughly for most people, it is our stances which are related to our shoulder width. So shoulder width, height, all kind of comes into play. So make sure that we're not in short stances and we're not in ridiculously long stances, again, just for balance. Like I said, get somebody to give you a little push. If you realise that your feet are one in front of the other, as if we're walking a tightrope, you'll notice this yourself, that it's quite difficult. Again, if we can stop moving, it becomes an awful lot easier. Hands go out, they just give us that little bit more guidance for balance. But we don't really want to be keeping our hands out here. So we have to get used to our hands being either up or in a blocking position or ready. So not out here. So at the start for balance, this is fine, but then we get used to it, moving them in. But likewise, make sure our stances aren't in that single line. But for balance, we can practice. One behind the other, move around a little bit, somebody kind of gives a little push, we can change. Okay, so that's our balance. So next thing that we're going to do, members, is just that little bit of agility. So just moving around, getting that foot position. You'll see an awful lot of people that do martial art and Taekwondo specifically, they have very nice relaxed movement. Yeah, that they lift the heels off the ground, just ever so slightly, and then they can just move. They can transition legs, they can change out to the side, they can run to the opposite side, all different things. Okay, so again, using some little props here that we have, just two little cones. Again, these can be a runner, these can be a jumper, these can be anything. So what I would suggest is maybe 2 meters apart, which again brings us into a perfect topic. 2 meters apart. If you're standing here, the other orange cone over there is a roughly 2 meters apart. That's how far you should be away from people when you're out and about. If you see your neighbour, making sure that you're staying this far apart. So it'll help give you an indication to what 2 meters is. So from the centre, place your right leg or left leg in front, doesn't matter, because we're going to change. So all we're going to do is just from there, up and down, and then we're going to move. And then we're going to backtrack. And then we're going to move to the opposite side. So again, if you'll notice, my feet aren't coming close together. What I'm trying to do is like little steps as we're going forward. So little steps. So the same thing. So just up and down, and then little steps. So keeping the length of your stance important. Then we can swap legs. So same idea again, forward and then backward. So just getting used to that motion, moving forward, moving back. You do a few of them, you'll start to feel the sweat moving up as well. So from there then, keeping the same distance apart, we can go forward and back. But then as we go forward and back, we'll notice that we're moving ever so slightly. We're moving, just getting that relaxed position. Swap legs, move, backwards and forwards. Okay? Again, lots of different things we can do. We can stand from here and then have your parent or somebody else in the house, let's say call one of them red, one of them blue. So we're in the middle and it's just fast reaction. They go red, we dip. They go blue, we dip. They go blue, we dip. So we can change, or we can just go feet. Yeah? So just skipping out with the feet. Get there as fast as we can. 1, 2, 1, 2, and then keep changing it. Getting fast. So again, very important. We kind of build up that little bit of speed with our feet. So simple. We don't need orange cones. We can have anything at home that we have just to go through the motion. Other things we may have lying at home. Hula hoop. Can be a rope, can be a skipping rope, can be anything at all. So same idea again. foot on the inside, and then just forward and back. But at all times, your foot is maintaining within the center. So we're just getting used to it. Swapping legs, same again, so we're going backwards. We can also go forward in all different ways, yeah? So very important. So next step from that one, we can go one foot in, and then we're going to change. So imagine the inside of the circle is hot. So you don't want your foot to be in there for long, so we just change. Yeah, just gives us a guidance. So rather than just standing on the spot and trying to visualize it yourself, it can just give you something that you need to work into. Okay, next one we have is we have a step. Again, I'm lucky here that I actually have the step. This can be the bottom step of your stairs. It can be a curb. It can be anything at all, just as long as it goes up. Likewise, start going through the motion, up and down. Nice and lightly. Maybe take 1 minute. Just up and down. Then all of a sudden, you can start bringing it up into speed. So start off slow. Maybe do 1 minute slow, and then 15 seconds fast. Then maybe 1 minute slow, 15 seconds fast. Build up your heart rate. Get that body moving. It also brings up the speed of your feet. The next one we can then do, likewise, we do with the hula hoop, is put 1 foot on it, and then just change. All you're doing is changing, watching your hand positions. Don't have them down. This is not Irish dancing. Hands up all the time, and foot out. Okay? Nice and simple. Now, next one we can then do is we can sit. If we have enough room away from that step, whatever it is, hands on, hold the position. So it's like a plank, except in the sitting position. We can lower it down, raise it up, lower it down, raise it up. So if you'll notice, my body movement isn't huge, it's quite small, but what we're doing is we're still working out all the muscles in the arm. We're being able to control that core strength that we have in our stomach, in our side, in our back, and all the way through our arms. So it's the same techniques and same muscle groups that we use to do our techniques. So very simple step. I'm sure we can all not necessarily find this type of one, but any type of step at all that will do. Okay, last one as a prop. Well, second last one actually. We have a ball. Now in this case, this is 8 kilograms, but does it make a difference if it's a football, if it's a tennis ball? Some of it can be just for hand-eye coordination. Somebody throws your ball, that we get used to catching it. Somebody throws it to the side. So if you have a weighted ball, if you have a bag of flour, if you have sugar, tins of beans or peas or carrots or anything at all, you can use the same thing. Obviously don't throw them, but for this one, where you hold into a good stance, and then just to the side. One to the other. Holding your arms out as straight as you can, a little bit of bend. Don't lock them out too straight, because then you start feeling it a lot more. The whole idea of these exercises is to start building up and working on those muscles in your shoulders. It's not necessarily to get your biceps going too much. Okay, next one, ball is on the ground. We go back to our squat exercise. So into a good sitting stance. So from there, without bending the back this way, trying to pick it up, squat down. Pick it up, let it fall. Squat down, pick it up, let it fall. Like I said, the weight of the ball is not important. This is just about that exercise, building up the muscles in the knees, keeping the flexibility and the mobility in the knees so we can move them easily, maintaining the back straight, down, pick it up, drop it down. Okay, nice and easy. Now, next one, go the opposite way. So holding onto the ball, just up. Now if you notice, elbows are bent. I'm not throwing it up too high, it's just release and catch. So that's all we're doing. Again, if it's a tennis ball or something that a little bit smaller, just makes it harder to do. Maybe you can just do it with one hand. If you have a football or something that a little bit bigger, it's easier to do. If we have any of those yoga balls that are huge, I would probably say maybe too big, because you're going to get wiped out in the face an awful lot. So be very careful about the size. But what I'm trying to show members is that day-to-day things that we may have lying around at home, we can use as part of our training, which is very, very important. So the last one that I have here is a brush. Okay, so again, just throw it onto the ground. It's not exactly what the brush is meant for, but in this case, we will call it a training utensil. So something that we're going to use for training. So in this case, and likewise now, if you have a brother or sister or a parent who's willing to help out and help with this, get them to sit down. So if they sit down with their back away from you, their feet straight out in front. So imagine the handle of the brush now is their feet. So we're going to start off into not necessarily a sitting stance, just a little bit wider, obviously enough that we can go on both sides. So from there, we're going to lift up and join your 2 feet together, up and then down. So when we get used to it, and down, then we try and go continuous. So, okay, we get it? So nice and easy. Again, do that a few times, start building up a bit of a sweat. Then we can go into like a walking stance shape, where we're going from there, we're swapping over. Now again, if it's somebody's legs, they're going to be a little bit higher, they're going to be a bit wider. We have to take that into account. So up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So again, you'll notice we're jumping, slightly twisting the waist, and twisting the waist puts the foot into the right position. Okay? So again, go through all those different motions, practicing. You can even go just from one side, hopping back and forth. Mix it up. Back and forth. Okay, and so on. So adopt it to yourself. Again, a lot of these exercises are all just geared towards making you move, making you work on your balance, start learning your head position, know where you need to stand, know where you need to be, and then it will help. Okay? So that's our class this morning. A little bit more fitness again. Probably only 15-20 minutes long. Not that long, but extend it. So everything that I demonstrated, maybe do it for 30 seconds to a minute, and then keep pushing to that little bit further. So we'll end this one. I'll start the next one now with a bit more technical. Cheerio. Come here. Take one.